Mm-hmm. Oh, short intro bumper things. I'm pretty sure I've seen that movie. That looks amazing. Whoa! Hey,
Taters from hell.
turn that off. Hi, everybody. Welcome Monday/Tuesday. Amigos Co. It's just two of us. It's the pair de resistance.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Steve's still talking from last week's show, so he's like in that Zoom room still.
We timed him out. Welcome, Chris. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to everybody there in your YouTubes. We should start. Big love to Stephen Legion. His beard is wet currently, very, very wet in Lismore, where he lives in northern New South Wales. Currently flooding. But southeast Queensland, northern New South Wales. My hometown, my home area where I was born, is all underwater. Like pretty tragic, actually. Steve as well. He has no intergoogles. I think he has power. He does live on a kind of rise on his street, so he is probably copping it less than everybody else. But yeah, we send all the big love to everybody in that part of the world, and it will.
I just imagine Steve right now with his big red beard wearing one of those like beanies that's folded up right here, and he looks like he's on a fishing boat, and he's got like one of his like light stands or whatever, and he's like paddling around. He's like, so anyways, this mod right here.
Yeah.
And then it's like actually when you zoom out, it's just him in a bucket full of his nasty juice, you know what I mean, that's in there? The surprise juice. I hope he saved the surprise juice. He better not let that go to waste.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, you always need for the what do you call it? The apocalypse days. He needs his the filthy bucket. But yeah, big love to him. Yes, Dave Lloyd. He lives on a hill, Lismore, where he lives. I shouldn't say that out loud. Bugger. But anyway,
you just doxed him.
I just doxed him. Sorry, Legion. But it's kind of like a big crater. I guess that's like a volcanic crater is where the town is. So it's a bit of a basin. So it does love the floodwaters. I have to say, Lismore is a strange place, and you can quote me on that, Steve. But that's why he likes it there. But yeah, that's it. I'm sure there might be. I don't know if anyone else in the chat is from Queensland or that East Coast situation. Mowgli Vapes knows Filthy Bucket. Awesome. I'm not even.
How much did you pay her, Mowgli?
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a whole bunch of shit going on. It feels like every time we do a stream, we're trying not to avoid talking about certain topics. Obviously, there's a lot of people, fighting in the Europe area. We've still got the Rona. We got the fuel prices, like people were talking about earlier in the chat. Trials and tribulations of fuel prices. Yeah. Jobs, work, all that sort of stuff. But hey, you got Chris, you got me. Well, let's forget about that shit for.
Everyone just left.
Everyone just left. Yep, they're just here for the drama. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot going on. But guess what? You have something to be happy about. The show's almost over in an hour, so you can look forward to that.
Yeah. Cheers. I'll drink to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy to me how you guys call like a hole in the ground a rise. Because like rise means up in like America.
Did I say that? I didn't mean that.
Oh.
No.
You said it like 20 times.
Did I? Well, Lismore. Yeah. No, Lismore. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It's a basin. It's a basin, basically.
Oh, okay.
A big, a big basin, big bowl, a depression in the ground. Which I think somebody did tell me back in the day it was a volcanic crater or whatever it was. Like
It would make sense that Steve lives in a volcanic crater.
Yeah.
That's why his hair's red. That's why his beard's red. He's out there smoldering. He's out there blacksmithing right now.
Yeah.
Lismore is called the Walk, says Scuffed Andy.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, it's stinking hot in summer, cold in winter. They just have the strangest vibe going on down there. It's a pretty cool place, actually. But that whole corner of is a very beautiful part of Australia and northern New South Wales. Beaches, rainforests, stuff, Stephen Legion. It's gorgeous. There you go. To Scuffed Andy, do you live out that way? Are you from that part of the world?
Yeah, he's like QLD, Queensland.
Oh, Queensland? There you go. Yeah. Queenslander is what you would say. Queenslander.
Queenslander.
Yeah.
Like Highlander. Can there only be one Queenslander, though? That's the real question.
There's a few. Yeah, there is a few.
Posers.
Yes. Let's just get this out of the way, Mr. Vandal. We can talk about what you're putting in your face hole. Let's get that out of the way so we can continue on with this highly intelligent discussion and talking.
Oh, shoot. Friday Fallout's in the chat. Should we shout out chat first before we do this stuff, the buffet?
Do it, man. Please.
All right. I'm going to shout out chat real quick.
Yeah.
Hi, chat. All right. Anyways, this is what I'm vaping. We got Mr. Robert Young. He said he has to leave, actually. He's stopped in for a little bit. Hope everything's going good, Robert. Mozzie was here like 18 hours ago.
Yep.
So, Mozzie, shout out to you. Let's see. We've got Mr. David Lloyd. Dave Lloyd? I always call him David. I'm sorry. I don't mean to use your proper name. We got Mr. Matthew Welch. He's from the family that created the Welch jams and jellies, if you didn't know. I'm making that up. Let's see. Who else we got? We got Mr. Earn. I don't think, and Mr. Jake Scrapwood Lundholm. Farfenberger? Sorry. We got Mr. Neil Pitts. We got Otto K in the house. What's up? He says, working from home today, afternoon all. It's been a long while. It has, man. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you're doing good. We got Mr. Scuffed Andy. We got Miss PSS. So that was the one Amiga I said. That's like the only chick that watches the show. Excuse me, woman, lady, milady that watches the show, I think. No. Mr. Mowgli Vapes. Never mind. We got two chicks in here. Let's see. Mr. Great Wombatsky. We got, let's see. The Friday Fallout is in here. Wow, this is going to turn bad. Shout out to the new channel. I don't even have the login for. And I think I got everybody. I think that's everybody. But yeah, welcome, guys. Also, I do have something different this week. I have something different.
No way.
But it is it's an elf bar. Let's see if my thing works. I get it's a disposable and all that shit. It's colorful. But I've tried a few of these. We got them in at work for just for the shop. We're not selling them or anything like that. As far as disposables go, the best damn disposables I've ever tasted. And I know this isn't a review channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Sign up for my Patreon, my OnlyFans, and all that stuff. And you'll get the full review. But the flavors in these things are amazing. This one's Sakura grape. Excuse me. It basically tastes just like grape Kool-Aid. Like super sugary, super grape, no fucking ice. Can you imagine a disposable without ice? Things are changing, people. The world is changing.
Yeah.
But it's delicious.
It'll never take off.
Yeah. And these will be good for about a week, and then they're going to disappear. Ern, by the way, he got promoted recently at his shop where he works at. He said, Elf bars are the new hot shit right now. I don't know what hot stuff is. Like, I'll be honest with you. I haven't been too into like the disposable game, and all that stuff, because more or less we just manufacture our stuff and the international stuff for our international clients. But I gotta tell you, if you like disposables, the only drawback to these is they say it's 5,000 puffs. I was telling Adam before the show, I can maybe get 5 days out of it before it tastes like a hot butthole, because it's such a small coil and all that stuff. But until then, it's delicious. It's super good. And great, I gotta distract you guys while Adam runs really weird to go get the door. But yeah, it's pretty good. Last week I had a lemon mint one, which was delicious. The lemon on it was super good. And then I had a green apple one. Did not like that one. The flavor at first was good. It tasted just like if you guys grew up in the States, I don't know about in Australia, like Queensland and all y'all. What's up, Steve? Oh, now you can get on the internet. Oh, no, I know you're probably on your phone. Your Starlink or whatever it is. Star Trek Genesis. Anyways, green apple tastes just like those candies that were like the green apple caramel candies, but just the green apple part, but too much ice. And like Ern said in the chat, yeah, that's another drawback to these things, is that it's USB-C chargeable. And I know most of us are kind of tech savvy-ish, you know what I mean? And most of us would have a USB-C charger. But if you're going to buy one of these from a shop or a store or whatever, make sure that you have a USB-C charger, because you're going to need to charge it at least once or twice before it starts to taste booty. But like 5,000 puffs, will it ever get that far? In my opinion, absolutely not. And it's 50 milligrams, so it's not my favorite because it's a high nick, you know what I mean? But I do notice that I hit it less often than the Caliburn. And with how much flavorings in this thing, it's hard for me to go back to my Caliburn, because it's just so much. Like, I swear to God, I swear like I'm just chugging down clouds of like grape, what is it, fucking grape Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to run off on you then. I apologize about that. So that is a USB-C and 50 milligram. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's draw only, you know, mouth draw only, no buttons or nothing. I like that because I'll catch myself a lot of times. Like, this obviously isn't going to be my all-day thing. I'm probably going to give up on doing the 50 next week because like it's starting to give me the sinus thing where I get the sinus itch and all that stuff. But
Yep.
no buttons. That's what I like about it because, you know, it's small and it's sleek. It goes right in your pocket. And then, like, you know, I usually keep keys or something in the same pocket and my caliburn all the time. I just hear, I'll be walking or something, you know, walking my dogs or doing something. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
and like caliburn's in there just toasting itself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What do you normally? Oh, I'm sorry, man. What do you normally prefer in nicotine level?
I usually do 25 with the Anarchist orange, but I was also able to. I have a bottle. It's in my little bag, my little man purse that I've got from the lab. They were able to make me some 10 milligram salt nicks. And I gotta tell you, 10 milligram salt nicks, the flavor is a much better. You know, because the nicotine does usually affect the flavor. At least, in, like, you know, I'm not a pro, but in my you know experience, it affects the flavor. It's super good with the flavor, but the nicotine is just too low. And because I've been wanting to step down even from like the 25 I'm doing right now.
Yep.
But I find myself because like this weekend, you know, the lemon one I had, it went out on Friday, so I wasn't able to vape it. So I was like, all right, cool, let's try the step down. And of course, we're going from 50 to 10. It's a huge jump. So like, I just felt like I was like, you know, breathing in like flavored air, you know. But the flavor on like slower nicotine, like, you know, obviously, you know, I'm speaking to the preacher to the choir here. Everyone knows this. But the lower nicotine makes the flavor and the salt nicks banging, man. It's delicious. But I found myself also like going through a whole caliburn pot in like an hour.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to like chase it, you know. I was like,
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah. It's
But for now, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Here's another question for you. Getting to know Chris Vandal. When you get up in the morning, how long is it until you hit your first toot?
I wake up with it in my mouth.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on.
No, usually it'll be about 5-10 minutes. But I do notice though, I don't know if like this is something weird. Maybe I need to go see a doctor or anything like that. Say if I wake up a little too early, you know, in the day, like, you know, I usually wake up around 6:30 a.m. If I wake up at like 4:30 a.m. for some reason, like whatever, I'll reach over and I'll either grab my caliburn or if I have this next to me and I freaking, you know, I hit it once and it makes me sleepy again and I go right back to bed. I think it's the oxygen deprivation of like, you know, your heartbeat being so slow and your heart rate, you know, and all that stuff from just waking up. So like usually like it knocks me right back out. So if I'm waking up to wake up, I try to wait at least 10-15 minutes because otherwise it's going to make me sleepy.
Well, they say that the best part of waking up is a 50 milligram in your face hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made a thing for myself that I can't have any toots until I've had water. So, you know, sometimes it's 2 minutes of waking up, I have water, and then I have a toot. And, you know, sometimes it's 20 minutes. But I try and intake a little bit of water before I do that because dry mouth syndrome, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I usually wake up, got this, and I got another jug of water right next to me, you know, and I take a swig of that. I do find myself, though, especially with the caliburn, like the pods and the disposables, if I have one, man, I don't even realize it, but like either I'm at work or if I'm at home and I'm vooping, you know, I'll be chaining the hell out of it, you know. And I go to like stand up to wipe my butt and I'm like, ugh, and I fall over, you know.
Yeah. Then it can get you. Can get you. Well, and I was saying to you earlier in the show, I would, if you know, we had access to those kind of things, if they were, you know, half decent, I would use them as well. A no button, you know, little banger that you can put in your pocket without any fear of it firing and all that sort of stuff. 100% for work. You know, because that's how I use my Coco. That's what I like about it because it's got no button on it and it's you know. 100%.
I'm starting to find too that like I get better draws out of my caliburn when I just do the breathe in instead of big love to you, Steve. And when I just do the mouth draw or whatever directly from it without hitting the button, I noticed I started to get a lot of like spits. Like it spits at me a lot when I push the button on my Caliburn, and it shouldn't be a difference because it's still going to be the same wattage and all that stuff. Like at least I'm no gynecologist, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. Like it should be the same wattage whether you're pushing the button or breathing in. But I notice more when I push the button, it starts to sound kind of like a smoking lamp, if you will, a bong. It's like. But like when I just breathe in, it's not as bad, or I could just be sucking in all the juice and not realizing it.
Who knows? Surely the ramp would be the same whether the air activated switch was turning the battery on, or the circuit on versus the button turning the circuit on. They wouldn't have them, because they would also
Two different
have
wattages.
Or no, yeah, or the ramp, because there would be something, a regulator in there setting that how fast it gets up to power.
Yeah.
But
so maybe I'm just like overthinking it or something. I have noticed though a lot of the Caliburn pods I've been getting lately. Stay safe, Steve. Is that they've been spitting a lot, and like they burn out a lot quicker. And I don't know about you guys. Like, do I have it on me? I don't have it on me. But my Caliburn, like when I first started using it, they were just plain plastic, clear plastic, whatever, and they didn't have any writing on it. But then the ones that I've gotten recently, they have like a brand on the pod itself. And ever since I've that's the only ones we can get now is the one like this brand on the pod. And like those ones, they're not as good as the original ones, like that I've used.
Yeah. All I remember is also Dimitri, Vaping Greek, talking about when people wanted that really fast ramp, he would pre-fire on the button before he then draws on it. Yeah. So he that was why he liked buttons on pod devices. But then you do that and exactly like that. The first hit you get is hot. Yeah. Well, that too. Yeah, Ern saying their most piece of shit systems. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Most pod systems, the auto draw takes over when you start pushing the button. Stop drawing and keep the button down, and it won't still be firing.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
I've gone through maybe like 10, 15 of the Caliburns just because I've either stepped on them or I've dropped them at the dog park and there's no fucking way I'm putting them around my mouth again. You know what I mean? Or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I did have a couple that they would auto fire on their own, and like I'd click the button and nothing would happen, and they would just keep burning until the battery died. So I'd take the pod out and it's just still like the green light still on until like it basically died. And so those ones scared me a little bit, but it's not very often. I found like I said, 2 out of 15, 20 of them. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But I like these, man. They're pretty good. But I've been going on forever about this. What are you putting in your mouth?
Yeah, it's much of the same from me. Hummingbird Shift plus GT1 from Typhoon, Custard Cookie from Sad Boy in that one. But it's a Snowcap buffet because it always is. Denali with the, what's that called? That's the Blotto Max from Dovper and Sam Vegenbergen. On the Denali, I have the Avalanche V1, which is not the V2, clearly. That's the V2, but this is the V1 that was very nicely sent to me by Mr. Dan. But this is a banger. I've been using this probably more than anything, just because I don't know why, but a bit of squanking. But I also have the new Ravine, which is in the VAC casted material. We can talk about this a little bit. I did talk about this on Sunday, but I'd love to share some stuff about this. It did get released overnight, I believe, on his Facebook group. So if you're not part of the Facebook group, Snowcap, actually it's got a really strange name. I'll find it and I'll put it in the chat afterwards. But
is it obscure? Like it's like instead of Snowcap, it's like dirty bottom round mountain or something. Dirty
Snowcap feats. Snowcap mods base camp. Base camp. That's the one. It's a base camp, but it is a private group. Even though I'm saying that on the YouTubes, but. Fowler Brown managed to pick up a Snowcap's Ravine VAC Black. Can't wait. Very nice. Yeah, Dan did I guess a small batch release of the pieces that he had. A lot of very excited people, which is really, really good. I have spoken to Dan this morning, and he's beside himself, stoked because he knows that it did take a long time, and I'm sure it was an absolute source of headache for him when you're trying to get a device together, and people are messaging you every 3 seconds to find out when the release is. But congratulations to Snowcap. It's killer. We can talk about it. I was very lucky. I am still talking about it. You should
be showing it?
Yes, it's okay. It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the cops.
Yeah, you call the cops. I don't. You call it. But I wanted to share with everyone. It feels stupid talking about photography with somebody who does it for a job, and even and then
Steve's not here.
Yeah. No, I wasn't talking about him, and I was like another guy who pretends he does it for a job. But I was very lucky. I got to take some photos for Mr. Dan. Asked me to take some photos. I wanted to share it with everyone. It's not often. This is something I'm learning about. I've gone down the rabbit hole of photography, and I just wanted to share with everyone some of these photos I took, which he's going to be using, which is really, really cool. Tell me how shit they are in the chat, everybody. I'll just run through them. That's a little front.
I got it up so I can critique you. I'm like, there's a dust speck on there. Your dirty fingernails.
I did the editing. Stop it. Anyway, I was very happy with this one. This is the backside backdoor booty shot, just to show you some of the really nice the material, and I can see a dust spot, so that one won't be going to Dan. And the cool way that it breaks down is design, with the battery in there. Really, really happy with.
I like that shot, man.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't want to make them too arty, and I know that people should have. There'd be plenty of better ways that it could have been done, but. Yeah.
No, I like how you got the. I'm a reflection whore. With my photos and stuff.
Yeah.
You got the logo on there, great, and like how it reflects right there and everything. Super cool, man. And then the texture on the back of that, super cool. I do love that you use the very earth tone color. Like a one color on the background, because it complements not just the connection, the connector at the top.
Yeah.
For your mouthpiece and all that stuff, but it goes in well.
Yeah.
And then how you pulled it apart right there, that's pretty cool too, because it looks like someone just literally pulled it apart. Man.
Yeah. Yeah, when I remember when Dan sent the this one, this was the first design that he did in that door, and it was to combat the situation of this. People were some had issues with it, some didn't. It's not super easy to get out, but it's not that hard as well. But incorporating the door. You shut your face hole, Siri. Just a really cool design that encapsulates the battery and all that sort of thing, makes it even easier. That was the thing that drew me to that device. So I was so stoked when he said that he was doing it for future models as well. But all I could think about was taking a photo like that of it broken down. But I'll thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I can edit the dust out. Obviously, Squonkus. Yeah, thank you. That I did already, and clearly I missed a bit.
No, I was joking. I didn't see any dust. That's just my biggest pet peeve is when you see people. I'm not hating on people. You got to learn. You got to start somewhere. When they're like, "Oh, DM me for rates for product photography," and then they didn't even take the time to use a paper towel or a cloth to wipe off their tabletop. And you got better reflections and the dust specks all over it, so it looks like the surface of the moon and shit.
Yeah.
And Neil Armstrong's gonna come bouncing by and all that.
I like Neil Pitts better. Yes, so that's that. He did ask to. Obviously, the Snowcap Facebook group is where you'll find out most of the information, because Dan posts in there. Also, his Instagram, I think, is where he's going to be doing the wider announcements. So Instagram, Snowcap Mods on Instagram, or Facebook, or So that was pretty cool. But it's a banging device. It's fucking outstanding. Pardon my French. Yeah, but that's all I'm vaping on. Perhaps we should go to this. This was one of the only other pieces that I had sorted out for today, because it is in a couple of days. This is the Inco webinar, Are You Feeling Burnt Out? The webinar being put together by Inco and the fantastic Charles Gardner on advocacy burnout. You still have time to register, even though this will be put on YouTube post event, I do believe, and maybe I'm making that a bit confusing, but I would say to register for it. I am going to put the link into the chat just now because I think it works out to be almost less than 24 hours. No, 48 hours, excuse me. I thought it was going to be this time tomorrow, but it's not. But that's the link there. Get amongst it. We're all advocates. We're all activists.
Yeah, Grim Green's gonna be on there. He's a good voice for advocacy stuff. I mean, he's been doing it hard for he's like one of the few big ones that's still around doing it. So I know you got the Grim Army, so that'll be good there for support. And then they've got a couple other speakers that know what they're talking about. So it's a good place to go and see what's going on, because at this point, it kind of feels like everyone is burnt out or no one's paying attention anymore. It's what it feels like. Because I remember. And it sucks, and I'm not trying to dig on anyone. It was like a year or two ago when advocacy was huge. A lot of people used it to claim hype clout, hype train and all that stuff. And you don't have to treat advocacy like a hype train thing. You don't have to let everyone try to reblog it or repost it or any of that stuff. Just post it so that the few that see it, that it'll affect or that it might help, do get to see it. You know what I mean?
100%. Because even just talking to regular people without, going the whole... I'm an advocate on Twitter and I'm, on there 24/7 and all that sort of thing. Advocacy happens to the people you're talking to, your nurse, your eye doctor, your whatever, that's still the same thing. So that's never an easy conversation to have with people. I'm faced with it at the moment. A person that I work with a couple of days a week is a hardcore smoker, and I'm trying to find the right time and place to instigate that conversation with them, but you always, need advice on that situation, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of things there for people to pick up and take on board.
And don't feel weird about if you post advocacy stuff and it's too late. I don't know if you guys noticed last week on the Amigos page, I've been real busy with work. We've been super busy with stuff going on, so it's hard for me to pay attention to the pages and stuff like that. But I posted a call to action that was 2 days late.
Hey, it's the thought that counts, man.
Yeah, so don't even worry about it. So,
what was the call to action, may I ask?
It was for 2 states out here in the States trying to ban, I think they were trying to ban flavors, and one was putting a tax on stuff. And then I shared it from CASA, and then I didn't realize till 2 hours later that it was 2 days past, and I was like, oh, shit.
That's right.
So it happens to all of us. Don't even worry about it. if you miss one, it sucks,
Yep.
But if you can, just share it to your story, share it to your page if you can, or just share it in the groups. Because I'm the only person that's in this community. I guess it's not in every fucking Discord and every Facebook group. I'm in none of them, and you know what? It's peaceful. Yeah. Because no offense, I don't want to see any of your dirty hand checks. But just share them to the group, share them to your Facebook stuff, share them to your Discord stuff. You never know who it might help. There might be that one day that the person in that group from Worcestershire, Montana or something's there, and he has a day off and he's able to go to the meeting or something. You know what I mean? Just put it out there.
Yeah.
You're not hurting anybody by taking the effort.
That's right. And I'll always remember those comments that people say that advocacy on a platform like Instagram doesn't work. I firmly disagree with that. It does work. So
Yeah, you guys are all watching us. Guess what? Where we started Instagram.
Mm-hmm. yeah, it's where we made our millions, Vandal.
Yeah.
It's how we can afford all the Lambos and stuff.
I can almost buy a shirt with sleeves.
Yeah. Jake is saying there, Scrapwood Jake is saying, I keep a close eye on my local stuff, but as far as Nebraska, I haven't really had anything for the last couple of years. Yeah, and there's places where, you don't have to worry because, your state or local area is a little more savvy or not trying to use the ban hammer.
I mean, that's kind of been a blessing in disguise, and I'm not trying to say whoever got COVID or anything like that, good for you or anything, but COVID kind of took over a lot on the national stage, so a lot of this stuff went on the back burner. But make sure you pay attention to what's coming out now, because now that the restrictions are easing up, mask mandates are going away in a lot of places, especially here in the States. and all that stuff, they're going to ramp up it again. It's just how it's going to be. It's how it's going to happen. A lot of states and stuff also might not be doing it because they got a lot of the pandemic relief money from the government here in the States. And so they're not too worried about taxes and stuff like this. But you got to remember, politicians always have an agenda, and something on that agenda is probably having to do something with vaping. So make sure you keep your eyes out. You don't have to, like, you know, if you're from, like, I'm from Las Vegas, I'm not telling, like, you know, other people from where they're at to worry about what's going on in Michigan if you're not from Michigan, or Florida if you're not from Florida. Worry more about your local areas if you can, and then spread the news to your friends, family, and whoever else that might be able in their area to help show up to a meeting. They could be like, even if they're still like you got smokers in your family and stuff like that, be like, come with me to this meeting. Tell them how I've changed or how much this has benefited me or something. Or even if they don't smoke. You know what I mean? Just because then you're adding the personal touch to it and you're humanizing the harm reduction device and cessation that you're using. And you're showing, you know, the actual results from people that are there that aren't invested into it directly.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still hoping that, you know, on the other side of the coin, that, you know, this whole situation towards pods and the whole market turning this way, you know, because that's funny. I am now of all those starting in those Facebook groups, the ones that I said that I would never join, you know, a year ago. But I guess that's just the nature of being at home all the time and working all the time. Now I'm engaged in these groups and, you know, talking to vendors, talking about, you know, that 95% of their sales are pod devices or, you know, that whole technology. And interesting to see.
And I guarantee you most of the people that are buying the pods now are like new users.
Yeah.
You know, because like the hardcore Facebook groups, like you're in some of them, like you can, you know, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but you don't see them posting like pods or anything. It's mostly like, oh, check out this double, triple wrap coil I got from Breeze Tones, and then check out this RDA, and then check out this mod. Like, it's kind of like, you know, reclused, but that's not a bad thing. It just means that you're going to be the ones that are more experienced with it, and then when the future of vaping comes around, you're going to be the experienced voices that they're going to ask for. The reason why pods are taking off so fast is because they're easy to access and they're easy to use, which means new people are going to use them. And that's, I guarantee you that, like, you know, I don't have stats or anything in front of me, so you just got to trust me. But I believe, in my opinion, that it's going to be all new users. That's why pods and stuff like that are taking off. Like, there's it's called Hookah Shop that's right around the corner from where I live. And I went in there one day just to see what they had. You know what I mean? Because, like, they instituted, like, a massive wholesale tax here in Las Vegas, or the state of Nevada, excuse me. And, you know, a lot of places wouldn't want to buy the juice or whatever. They still have your average, you know, your naked juice, and, like, you know, to me, it's like, if you like that kind of stuff, no offense, but to me, that's like your basic stuff. You know what I mean? Like your Naked or your Jam Monster. That to me is drugstore vape juice. You know, you know, no one actually wants it, but it's there for those that do. You know, it's always on the shelf. But a lot of pods, and like I remember I was in there, and there was this guy in there, this black guy, and he was like, "Hey man, like I'm trying to quit smoking cigarettes, blah blah blah. I smoke Newports all the time," and I was like, "I used to smoke Newports, anyways." And he was like asking the shop guy about like the disposables. He's like, "Oh yeah, this one's good. You know, this one's it's fruit ice, and then this one's banana ice, and then this one's ice, and all this stuff." And like the guy was kind of confused. I was like, "Hey man, like I work for a vape company and all this stuff, blah blah blah. Like, what are you looking for? You know, like what he's like, oh man, I like menthol cigarettes." I was like, all right, cool. I used to smoke menthols. This is what I quit with, blah, blah, blah. But like, I can't sell to him because we can't sell to the state of Nevada because of the taxes and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, these are some websites you could visit. But like from what they had in the pod selection, I noticed a couple, you know, and I'm not going to name drop because I don't work for them or anything like that. But I was like, yeah, dude, this one's not too bad. Try that one out. And then if you ever have any questions, dude, like hit me up. He's like, you got on Instagram, bro? I'm like, yeah, here's my IG, Chris Fandle, blah, blah. Shoot me a message. I haven't heard from him. So hopefully what he chose that day. But that's like one small interaction that you can do whenever you're in your local shops or something like that. Or if you're at a gas station and, you know, you see someone buying an IQOS, fuck Bloomberg and punch him in the head. No, don't punch anyone in the head. But, you know, help suggest people towards better things that you know if you have the expertise or advice on it. And that's helping build a community outside of our echo chamber community that we have in vaping. Because it's pretty echoey in here.
Yeah. I can't believe you did something nice. That's out of control.
I do nice stuff all the time. I just don't like to talk about it because then people expect it and they're not. You know? Like this morning on the bus on the way to work, there was a guy, he got on the bus, he didn't have a mask, and we still have the mask mandate, and he was like holding his shirt up over his thing. I was like, dude, don't calm down. I got like 20 of these things. I was like, here you go. He's like, oh, thank bless you. I was like, I don't believe in God. And he's like, what? And then I got off the bus. Like,
you're like, jokes on that dude. That one was used. Yeah.
I wrote Hail Satan in it.
I sneezed in it. Yeah. No.
Yeah, but Neil Pitts is right too for the average, like not the average, but like I'll call you, us that have been doing this for a while, institutionalized vapors. 20 to 50 is way high, and like I agree. I'm vaping this because the flavor's great, but I'm not hitting it super hard. Like usually, you guys see me with McCaliber, and every 5 seconds, because it's like 25. But I do think that there should be a market out there, for smaller disposables. And I think that would help a lot of other people too, because there are people that just casually smoke like 1 or 2 cigarettes here and there, during the day or something. And they don't want to go from like, 1 cigarette during a day to go fucking get face punched with like, 50 milligrams and then pass out and fall on their floor. You know what I mean?
I think that's a regional thing though as well, because if I was to, import e-liquid, if I was looking at Northern Hemisphere brands, they're all in that 30 to 50. Here, if I was buying New Zealand brands or, I guess more localized brands, they go right down to 20, so 20 to 35 is the highest you can buy, which is, it's just strange how,
I think that's
why they made the decision.
Range. But I think it's definitely more or less than the United States. We like to, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, because like it or not, the United States affects a lot of culture over here, whether you're Canadian or you're Mexico or anything like that. Like what we do directly affects what you're doing. Yeah. And in the United States, we like to get on the line. It's like, we'll have one beer that's 5,001% alcohol. You know what I mean? Like in America, we're like, oh yeah, like let's go.
We can do 6.
Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, I just want to take a puff in between my breaks, like. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 5 minutes to have 2 or 3 toots, and I don't want to, like rock my socks. Yeah.
So I definitely think that's a change we need in the Northern Hemisphere for sure. Who's gonna do it? Probably nobody. But I can get stuff because I asked for it specifically. But that's what the people want over here, so that's what the people are gonna get. And then the people be like, oh, you want smaller stuff? Just do, freebase nicotine. No, I don't want to do freebase nicotine because then I got to carry 18 pounds of batteries and like 47 pounds of mod. And then it hits me in my junk. And I got to tell you, I don't need to get hit my junk,
Yeah. I was wondering, I don't know if that's something that I've ever, in all the, years we've all been kind of involved in this, I've never really heard the story of why they started at 50 milligrams. Or, like why? Oh, no, that was sorry. It wasn't never that. It was that's just when the salt revolution came in. Excuse me. Now I know. Yeah. God, it's so hard to put.
I remember when the salts. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, there's so much stuff. I had a full mind flash of everything from when I started learning about advocacy to now, and it all just melded together. I completely forgot that there was regular nicotine, salt nicotine, companies coming in and out of. Just ignore me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember when salts first came out. It was like I was working at local. I was like maybe about a year in. And I was like, salt nicotine. And I was like, oh, that sounds weird, And like, that's what everyone in the vape community does. We're pretty reactive. You know what I mean? I'm not speaking for everyone, but I'm saying everyone. And, I was like, that's really weird. I remember like, it was like Glass, I think, was one of the first brands to do it, and Ripe Vapes and stuff like that, Ripe Vapes is the top tier e-juice. Like, no hate to them whatsoever, but I didn't like any of their stuff. I don't like tobacco flavored anything anymore. But, a lot of that stuff, and it really weirded me out. And then eventually, I was like, it was because of a pod. It wasn't a pod. It was because of a disposable. So I tried a disposable. It was like a ya-ya. And theirs only come in 50, And I was like, the flavor's not bad, but man, it's too much nicotine. And then, we, Anarchist started making it, one of the companies I work for, and the vapor treats and all that stuff. And I was able to get it because we do 25 and 50. So I was able to do 25. But like Ern said, for some people, it just works. He said, my mom wasn't satisfied with 25 milligram salts. It was the 50 salts that finally got her off of cigs. Yeah. I'm sure she reduced eventually. She really didn't smoke a lot of cigs. And yeah, so like you got to start somewhere, and you can go down or you can go up. I wish there were more options for everybody on the salt nic side for the lower nicotine dosage, because if you like it, you don't have to step down. If you want to step
Yeah.
down, there should be options for you to step down.
Yeah. And not from Bloomberg, and a computer-generated algorithm telling you to step down. That's the only one good thing, about this market is that, if you're prepared to mix it yourself, then, you can take that into your own hands and do your own numbers, with a 100 milligram or even 65, I guess, like Canada had. It makes it a lot easier, but a lot of people just don't even want to touch that. But that also is another good point. I never really thought about that. When people think, we talk language about, light, medium, and heavy smoking. Heavy smoking doesn't necessarily also mean, upwards of a packet a day. You could be like a buddy that came into my head just now, who smoked the heaviest cigarettes he could get his hands on, but he only had 5 a day. So in the sense of it, he was looking for jaw punching, hit of all of the bad stuff, and a 20 milligram, pod is not going to do that because he's going to be punching it all day long, so the 50 milligram, people that really need that nicotine, or like my wife, she's got an adverse, she can handle any medicine, any stimulant. She's just got one of those metabolisms that requires a lot of things to affect her physically, whereas I can breathe something and I'm off my face hole, so it's interesting thing.
Jake in the chat said he started with 12 milligram free, knocked my pecker in the dirt, and he smokes cigars. Salt just makes him sick, and you metabolize the salt mix a little bit different. Your body does affect you faster. It smacks you a lot faster.
Yeah.
And so, and Ern said even 18 milligram freebase is super harsh out the throat. Definitely see the pill of salts would be a lot nicer to lower the MG in his opinion. And that's the thing is like, say you buy a heavy like freebase juice, a regular nicotine juice, right? You can buy a zero and you can find the you can mix it a little bit and find your even ground. That's a problem with salts. You can't find zero nicotine salts because it's the nicotine is salt. The salt is the nicotine. So you can't find a zero salt nicotine. And then what you're doing is like just mixing it with the juice. And again, I'm no mixologist. I'm no mix master here, nothing like that. Like we'd probably need talk like Overdrip, maybe a Mitch Hoggett or Sifu and like KVTV, one of those guys. Make sure you go check them out. They do all that stuff. But we don't have the option to try and play with it because, at least in my opinion, because I don't know what I'm talking about right now. But I imagine it's not going to be the same effect if you were to mix an 18 a 50 milligram with a zero juice. I don't think it's going to be like that.
I can answer that.
Does it work?
Well, yeah, because effectively, all it is just different ratios and percentages. So if it's without bringing into account, whether it's 50-50, 70-30, whatever the e-liquid is, yes, you can do that, exactly like Ern is saying. Luckily, our house line of liquid has a 0 milligram VG base and then can cut our 35 milligram salt in half.
There you go.
So you can do that, but what you were saying and what I have always thought that we should have is for those people that do add their own nicotine and or those that want to customize it, because I think even Logan Exhales he's not a standard milligram person. He's in the middle between 9 and 12 or somewhere. I think he does 10 or something. He just doesn't want it to be that much or too less. So the reality of making your recipe so that you can add the correct dose of nicotine is the hard part, because you still need to get those the percentages and the numbers at least in the ballpark of your end goal. So
so it wouldn't be easy for the average person then? Well,
no. If you were using 70-30 that you were able to buy in 0 and say 9 or whatever you were trying to do, that would be stupid, because of course they're going to have 6 milligram. But you know what I'm saying? You've got a high nicotine added to an e-liquid ready to vape that's higher than what you want, but you can add 0 milligram in that to dilute the situation, but yet retain the flavor percentages of the 0 milligram. That's how you would do it. But in a 50-50 MTL style e-liquid, there is none of that. I think there was one company here, it was actually an Australian company that was selling the 50-50 recipe with 0 milligram in it, so you could add your own nicotine whether you wanted it to be.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but only one of them. And I don't even know if it took off, because people were like, oh, what do we do with that? And it's like us here in the hobbyist and where we want to adjust our nicotine levels, we're like, this is perfect, but it's not taking off because I guess, people don't want to handle nicotine, so.
I'll be honest with you, like, it sketches me out, and like I'm not gonna get sick, or I'm not gonna make like a dirty bomb or nothing with it. But I don't like to do that because I don't like to explore with stuff that I might hurt myself with, or get sick from, And like there's always dangers no matter what you're doing. So like if they ever clip this and put it on the news out of context, eat my butt. But it's like I definitely think that there should be like someone out there should maybe do like a video for it or something, like give a tutorial on it, like one of those guys out there that I mentioned before, like a Nick mix or something video, so it would be useful information.
We discussed that.
Feel a lot safer.
Well, we discussed that with Dr. Colin because I asked him about that. I was like, if we did that, could we get in trouble? Because hypothetically, it is. It's no different than
suggesting how to use the device.
Yeah, or showing how to brew booze, like things that are age restricted or whatever. I mean, nicotine would be slightly different because it's it's a scheduled poison. But in the same vein, you wouldn't have to use the real product. You could just be using VG and showing this is how I set up my desk. Here's the running water. Here's the gloves. Here's the and it's not actually the real product, so because that's how I learned how to Nick Supping was watching a YouTube video, but the dude was like, it was in 2015, 2014, he did it in his house, and then I never saw the video again, so I don't know if YouTube took it down because he was actually using the real deal. But if you advertised it as that, these products do not contain any nicotine, and you're just showing, God, they have cigarette reviews on YouTube. Surely they wouldn't, they wouldn't take it down for that. Matthew Welch, 100%. Wayne DIY or Die has a lot of good Nick videos. Yeah.
Jake said that too. So like, I guess like it's something. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know about these videos. I'm not really looking for them. But thank you, chat, for throwing those ideas out there for anyone that might be. Because like you said, how to set everything up, how to do it, wearing gloves, and the ratios and all that stuff. I've always thought mixing was a cool idea, but it's something I never got into because it's out of my wheelhouse completely. You know what I mean? I can bullshit through a lot of stuff, but that's something that I don't want to bullshit on.
Yeah, and you do, you do have to, have some kind of. You do have to adult, is what I'm trying to say. When you're doing that, it's very easy to make a mistake. And like you say, if you're not 100% there watching, and then you do decide to rip some, crazy concentrated form of Nick, that won't be very great. But if Ern doesn't know, I'm just saying this for you here for that statement. I try to keep people under 30 watt for Nick salts. That's all I use, dude. It's all I've ever used since I could get my hands on it because I prefer salt nicotine for my cloudy devices. I'm using a low concentration of it. It's just what I prefer because I want clarity of the flavors. And for me, using nicotine salts in low concentrations is what I do. So I'm punching them in mechs all day long, But I know people that, like when Steve, we did the taste test on the Edge RTA for the Aussie Vape Show. I sent him 3 milligram. No, I did not. I did not. I sent him an e-liquid that had not freebase, regular. I hate that word freebase because it's not freebase. Regular styled nicotine, and his body didn't agree with it. And then he was like, I didn't tell you that I don't use salts. And I was like, okay. So, what's good for you is not good for everybody.
Yeah. And I was going to say something. I forgot. The closest I've ever got to mixing was that one time we were on the show. This was like last year because I was still in the house with the pool and I accidentally put the 50 milligram into my tank on my vape gap or whatever it is. And that I was on a different dimension. Like it's like it's not like I got out of it okay, but I'm not suggesting anyone else do it because I gotta tell you I was spaced out for like 3 hours. Like I was just
good party trick. And I wasn't pointing the finger at you, dude. I just wanted to say that because we all different strokes for different folks. Sometimes even here in Australia, we don't always have the. No, let me word this correctly. Because of past history with people stockpiling or political decisions that cause us and everybody to buy at the same time. We don't always have the everything at our disposal as far as you wanting to buy regular nicotine or salt-based nicotine. So people have been buying whatever they can get their hands on, and that also then changes also whether it's 100% VG, 100% PG, a mixture of both, smooth signature, all of the little details you can buy with Nicotina. Dave Lloyd there says Salt Nick tightens his chest. Same with Steve. Yeah.
If it affects my sinuses, like when I do the 50s, like I was telling Anna before the show, like it makes me all stuffed up and clogged up. And like when we first got these in, I was gung ho about it. I was like, I had this one, it's like rainbow, tropical rainbow candy or something like that. It just tasted like candy. So and then the next day I woke up and I was like, ugh, and I had to use my sinus stuff that has a little bit of alcohol in it. And I sprayed it up my nose and all. I just felt, and then I heard the drain. I was like, like spitting it out and stuff. So it's definitely not for everyone. And if you're going to use something, start slow. I mean, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but you can try to do stuff. Just take baby steps. Baby steps are always the best way to learn how to run.
That's quite I can imagine Ern in the store saying, "Oh, dude, yeah, if you want to do blast yourself in the face hole, outstanding." Yeah, don't advise that. But Ern is a really good example of somebody who cares. Like working in vape stores, the amount of questions that people get asked with some of the staff there. And again, I'm not pointing the finger at the retail staff as such, but you want someone like Ern behind the counter so that you can who knows the products and knows a little bit about what's going on, as opposed to I just want to sell you this and get out of here. So
if you go into a vape shop and you're going to ask for advice, make sure you see them using a device as well, and you might be a little bit better off. Because I remember when it was before I even vaping was starting to pick up, and this was like 2013, 2014 here in Vegas. I used to go into this one vape shop because they used to have these coils for my concentrated marinara, and so they'd all be in there. And then I remember standing there and I'd be asking for advice on it, and they're like, "Oh, we can't give advice on that. We know it's used for illegal stuff," because back then it wasn't recreational legal here. I was like, "All right." And then guys would come in and they'd be like, "Hey, start throwing out ohms and all this stuff." And the guy, you could tell he started a business. He's an entrepreneur, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I sell it. You can have it. Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works." And then
it works.
These people would come back and it's like, it doesn't work, or I'm getting sick, or it's not the right thing, and all that stuff. So if you walk into a vape shop, ask the guy that's chucking clouds, pulling on a mod, because obviously they have a little bit of experience on it. I know I'm not talking to anyone here because all of us are experienced at least in some aspects of this, and a lot of you guys are a lot more experienced than me, and I'm on the screen. So if you got friends that are asking, help them out, just give them some good advice. Don't just be the guy that's like, "Oh, you're going to switch over? Yeah, hold on. Try this 80 milligram salt snick and then stick right here. It's going to batter you up and shove it up your butt." Because you're going to turn people off to it, and then that bad experience is what they're going to share with others. And then the people that aren't going to try it, that's what they're going to share when someone brings up the subject.
Indeed. Yes, Neil Pitt said, did a stupid thing once. I took a drop of 40 milligram nicotine and dropped it on my tongue. It was terrible. That would have lasted many laughs and a good couple of days there. I'm burning your tongue hole. Yeah. Don't do that. No, don't do that. It's not very tasty. We're coming into the last 10 minutes, Mr. Vandal, and I do have motivational blah blahs for today. I may have said it before, but I'm going to do it again. So here's the bumper for the motivational blah blahs. You can even, and this one is a simple one. Prove it. Just prove it. If you're going to say it, just prove it. I don't know where I heard this one. Oh no, it was on a podcast of some description, and the discussion was around two people talking. One person was talking about trials and tribulations, or like their daily yada yada. And the other person said the answer to those things is just prove it. It's not aggressive. It's not putting the person down. It's not putting the situation down. They were basically just saying, if you're going to say it, do it. And I love that one. I've been using it so much lately, and I think that one so much now. Because I've also been a gunner, as we say here in Australia, going to do it, a gunner. But by using that mantra, you will get many things achieved.
And I not exactly that phrasing, but I believe in that 110% because a lot of people nowadays will be like, I have a plan, and then they start talking about all their plans on like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, or I'm gonna go make this, or I'm gonna make this happen, and then they get high off the the endorphin release of just telling people and people being happy for them that they give up or they stop. And the only thing I'll add to this is, Lil Wayne said it: real G's move in silence like lasagna. Don't tell anyone your plans, you know what I mean? Unless they're directly involved or they can help you to get to it. Show people after you've done it. Show people after you've succeeded at something, or show something after you've attempted to do something. If you need help, then ask for help. But don't go blasting all your plans out there and then get a pat on the back for having a good idea and then not executing the idea, because you're stopping where you started in the same exact spot. So prove it to yourself, and you don't have to prove it to anybody else. I don't care what you do. I don't if you do something great, I'll clap for you. That's good for you, keep going. I don't want to hear what you want to do. I want to see what you've done. You know what I mean? And I treat yourself the same exact way. It's like I could tell all you guys, I'm going to start building coils and I'm going to make the best vape ever. Hell yeah, Vandal, good job. Hell yeah, that's cool. I'm glad to see you get more interacting into it. 2 weeks later, guess what I'm doing? Not that. You know what I mean? So prove it to yourself. You don't have to prove it to anyone, because when you do it, there's nothing left to prove to anyone. You've done it.
You're only competing against you and your words and your actions. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
So get out there and fucking do it.
Prove it.
Or as Shia LaBeouf said, just fucking prove it.
That's right. Can you say what the quote was about lasagna again? Can you say that again?
Real G's move in silence like lasagna. Because you don't hear the G when you say lasagna.
I see now. Right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Welcome to Vandal Teaches Boomers Rap Lyrics.
Did you just call me a boomer? Damn it. Damn it. I'm not a boomer. Gen X. Extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, WWF.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Saturday night. Folks, Neil Pitts there gave him the sweats. Not surprised. We want to, thank everyone for tuning in this new format. It's all me, bi-weekly. So yes, we won't be here for another couple of weeks, but very much appreciate you all tuning in. Mr. Vandal, tell us more about the Friday Fallout and the channel.
Yeah, so we are moving the Friday Fallout to our own channel, which is going to be called the Friday Fallout, where me and myself and what's his name? I can't remember. Anthony Salmonella?
Tony Racamella.
Tony Racamella. Oh, yep. Dude, I'm going to use that. No, Anthony Ramella, he put it together. My co-host on the thing. He does a lot of the content, for 99% of the content for the show, because he loves it. But we're going to move over to a new channel. I don't have a definite date yet. We will be live this week on this channel. We just got to move some things. I'm in the currently process of packing up this apartment and getting the fuck out of here, because this place sucks butt. So we don't have a solid plans with putting it all together right now, but the channel is up, as you saw in the chat. So if you want to go follow that, we have made an Instagram page, the Friday Fallout, if you want to follow it. Other than that, we will be back this Friday I forgot what we were talking about because I had a couple beers on the last show. So Anthony, you got to let me know what we're supposed to do.
That sounds like excellent content. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. I mean, come on, man. What do you expect? But yeah, so we'll be back on this week on this show, but we might take next weekend off after this Friday, next weekend, whatever. But I'll post updates and everything on social media. We do have the store, and then there's a Facebook group, but I gotta tell you, not very active. And there's a Discord I forgot all about until I got an email about it, and I guess what? I'm still not going on there. So anyways, you can catch us here on Friday, and we'll have more information for you there. If you'd like to set up, send money to Steve Legion's GoFundMe. We're going to buy him a pirate ship that matches pirate beard while he's out there floating. We'll put that in something.
Yeah.
Or no, we'll put it in a butthole. That's for you, Steve. That's all I got.
Yeah. Awesome. More than a couple is saying that Friday Fallout in chat saying more than a couple.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, prove it.
Yeah, prove it.
Awesome. I will speak out of turn for Steve. He did post something on his Facebook for the Patreon group that he is out, and he's not really sure when he's back, which probably interferes with the 14 streams that Mr. Legion does each week. So I'm sure if you keep your eye on Steve's socials, he will, he does have sporadic internet access, so he will tell everyone when he's back, and I'm sure he'll just appear, and everyone will be like, "Oh, cool, he didn't float away." But yeah, awesome. I think that's it, Mr. Vandal. That's it.
That's all we got, people.
Awesome.
Unless someone tips us $5, I'll show you some nipple.
Yeah, do it. Thank you very much to everyone. Have an amazing week. Stay safe. Drink more water. Brush your teeth. Hug those that you love, and we will see you next week. See you next week.
Next week.
Yeah. Next week. That's right.
A fortnight, isn't it?
See you in a fortnight, innit? 2 weeks away. All right. See you later.